I agree. But it's possible that the wood style element of it could be getting in the way, ironically, to where it is absorbing, but it's only absorbing nature energy rather than chakra because of the wood style shenanigans.
Okay, but absorbing nature energy is perfect when that's what the 10 tails is.
Well, that's exactly what I'm getting at. So it's only absorbing nature energy when it's trying to absorb chakra.
But it wouldn't need to absorb chakra if all the 10 tails is nature energy.
But the Ten Tails itself has chakra anyways.
Well, it depends on what time of the, what chapter you want to look at. Because if you want to go back to where the 10 tails is revived, it was only pure nature energy.
Which doesn't make sense, but that's besides the point.
I just, I don't understand. Well, because again, what Kishimoto was going for is clearly different from what they're trying to do in Boruto.
Yeah.
Because it probably was meant to be an amalgamation of nature, like Mother Nature's wrath.
Yeah, exactly.
That probably was the original idea with the Tentos when he's first describing all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's freaking Mother Nature's wrath. The Divine Tree still works with that. Black Setsu / White Setsu could have just been Mother Nature's soul, coming out for vengeance or whatever.
Especially with all the bad omens they have in Naruto. Especially
and
with
also that. When you, not to mention the weird line that gets dropped immediately afterward when Black Setsu's merging with nature and being like, "This land is me. I am one with it." Like, bro is planning on Black Setsu being a big villain, but it wasn't Kaguya's will. It was probably his fucking Mother Nature's will, and then he later decided to make it Kaguya. Now, as a rewrite question, okay. I obviously, we're going to have to think of this on the fly, but the premise I'm thinking is Black Setsu and the 10 tails essentially will just be this Mother Nature thing. But we're going to keep Kaguya. In this case, Kaguya can transform into the 10 tails and all that jazz. The point is, Kaguya has her own separate Kaguya will that is just different from the Mother Nature stuff that is 10 tails / Black Setsu. In which case, Black Setsu has his plans to... We'll figure out what his plans are. But his plan is his Mother Nature's plan, basically, whatever that is going to be.
So just getting this out of the way, we have to entirely disregard Boruto as a concept entirely for this.
Yes.
Because if that exists, then my answer is an automatic no, I don't want it. So assuming Naruto just is the only thing, that we have to go under that consideration.
We can also add as another consideration Boruto movie and ending it there as well.
I don't think we can.
We might be able to, but
how would you get around Momoshiki?
Well, one thing at a time. Okay. So the question is, how do you go about it? So in this case, Black Setsu and Kaguya wouldn't be allies. They would be like, Black Setsu's an enemy and Kaguya's just another enemy that's just coming into the mix here. I feel like, unless you... Well, thoughts on that as an idea first.
So you could separate Kaguya's conviction into two different beings anyways, which works in this case, to where Kaguya's only fighting because she wanted to protect her sons / she hates her children, and then Zetsu is the one that wants to combine all chakra back into one being or whatever because he thinks that humans stole the Earth's chakra, and so he's trying to bring nature back to the way it was.
Yeah, the way it once was.
Essentially similar to Toneri in that case.
So, yeah, exactly. I was going to say it's kind of like Toneri's thing. In which case, you could probably, funny we're coming back to this, you could probably just use Madara's Kaguya's story in this case to where...
No, that's what I was going for. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kaguya breaks the normal pattern of life that Black Setsu is trying to restore, basically.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So the question is, what is Kaguya's goal / dynamic with Setsu once she comes out? The next question. / is Black Zetsu planning on Kaguya and so
So
on.
I think the best way to do this would be a similar alliance to where it's like a fake alliance, but a kind of alliance similar to Madara and Obito, to where Zetsu and Kaguya reluctantly team up in order to take down the common threat. It's the same thing the entire alliance does to take down Madara and Obito. It's the same thing Naruto and Sasuke do to take down Kaguya. It's just repeating that idea, which works with the history theme as well. So Kaguya and Zetsu, or Mother Nature in this instance, team up. The Earth itself teams up to take down Hagoromo.
The only issue with that would be the whole teamwork versus fighting by yourself thing. Now, I know technically Kaguya was teaming up with Black Zetsu. They were fucking one entity. Like, it was supposed to be one entity.
Well, that can work
so
if Kaguya does the same thing anyways. She could just fuse into the Earth after absorbing, or I guess devouring the chakra fruit. That could still work. If you want to do it like that.
Like, is she gonna fuse with Black Zetsu? Like, so that's just one, so that they're not teaming up? Because then you have teamwork versus teamwork. Unless you want to make it a thing to where their teamwork is not real teamwork.
Black Zetsu doesn't necessarily need to exist back in the day. It could be a thing to where the fight just goes as is, and then when Hagoromo and Hamura seal Kaguya / the Ten Tails, the combined fused one entity thing, instead of Kaguya pooping out Black Zetsu, it's the Ten Tails.
That's what I was gonna say. That was gonna be my rewrite. Is the Ten Tails poops out Black Zetsu? So in this case, that's the Ten Tails' mind / soul, not Kaguya's will. That just is the mind of the Ten Tails / Mother Nature and all that jazz.
Which honestly probably works better for the Madara betrayal, anyways. That's funny enough.
Exactly. It also works better for when the Divine Tree is talking to Madara and saying to take me within you, because Black Zetsu is the Divine Tree's mind. Essentially.
So in this case, why would Zetsu be reviving Madara, or is he doing that and Kaguya gets there some other way? I said Madara, I meant Kaguya.
That was gonna be one of my questions, is how we want to. So, all right, ignoring Kaguya for a minute, my thought was this: Divine Tree's, it's a smart tree, whatever it is. When you take its chakra, that's what makes it mindless to some extent. That'd be part of the reason why it just becomes crazy. It's not. It could be angry, but it could also be like it lost part of itself. Whatever is left in there in that big body, it can spit out, / take from Kaguya, whatever, to make Black Zetsu smart and all that jazz. So you get there anyway. His goal is obviously just to restore the Divine Tree and all that jazz. So when it comes to Kaguya, I think it would either be he's doing this so that he can win the war before he then plans to betray Kaguya, or Kaguya is an accident to where...
Accident could work.
Because as it is, it seems like if you absorb chakra into that Ten Tails, it turns into Kaguya. We see this on 2 occasions, when Black Zetsu absorbs it all into Madara, and when Kaguya is turning into the Ten Tails, it gets Naruto and everyone else. She absorbs chakra from the infinite Tsukuyomi again to restore herself again. So that just seems to be a thing.
How this could work is, considering Kaguya was fused with the Ten Tails when it was sealed anyways, if they're restoring the Ten Tails, Kaguya could just still be fused into it, and then Zetsu would separate Kaguya from the Ten Tails, or she could just do it herself.
So would he intentionally be pulling her out, you mean?
They could do that, yeah. They could also do a thing to where it's similar to, like, Madara talking to Naruto and Sasuke, like, oh, thank you for defeating Obito for me, because now I don't have to do it. But, like, slightly change from that to where Zetsu acknowledges that Naruto and Sasuke are too strong, that Zetsu with the power of the Ten Tails wouldn't be enough, so he has to bring Kaguya back as a powerful enemy to deal with Naruto and Sasuke.
That's what I was going to say. It was one option where then he would have to do whatever he's going to do to, backstab her later. Another option would be it's just like an accident to where Black Zetsu's absorbing all the chakra so that he can restore the Divine Tree, but in doing so, it actually brings out Kaguya, which he just isn't expecting, and then it's like, oh, this isn't what I planned. Well, I guess let's team up and defeat them first, and I'll figure out what to do.
In which case, you haven't seen Made in Abyss Season 2. You will at some point. I want it to be very much so Kaguya's will, basically forcing the accident, because she's been wanting this all along she's been fighting all this time to make this a reality, rather than Black Zetsu just accidentally stumbling across, coincidentally doing it.
Yeah, so and that's the issue. You need to have Kaguya be like the mastermind in this case.
Yeah.
Which means you gotta change Kaguya. But yeah, that's where it starts to get tricky. Is how do you want who do you want to be the mastermind? Do you want it to be Black Zetsu, or do you want it to be Kaguya? Because one of the issues with this is an issue anyway. As it is, Black Zetsu is the mastermind, and he's really the villain. Kaguya is just the one fighting to a large extent. Thematically, Naruto
defeats Zetsu because Zetsu's the one that thinks he orchestrated all of shinobi history.
Exactly. Zetsu is the final villain. Kaguya is just the body doing the fighting. Black Zetsu is Hashirama. Kaguya is the Thousand-Armed Buddha statue. That's what it is. And that's already kind of annoying. It works, but it's kind of annoying. And in this rewrite, we're either going to have that, or we're just going to have two villains.
Because Kaguya doesn't even have her own thing that Naruto and Sasuke fight against anyways. Because Kaguya is seeing them as her sons, and Naruto and Sasuke just don't even counter that, first of all. But then that continues to be a thing, with Hagoromo being like, you're just like Indra and Ashura, and then Naruto's continuing to be like, no, we're not, we're us. And then they have to go to the final fight and to prove that at the end of that fight, after the Hagoromo thing. So it wasn't a thing until after the final fight.
It's just, I hate to say it, but Kaguya's shtick, her character arc and all that jazz, is kind of just... It's completely separate from Naruto and Sasuke. And to an extent, this is just a problem because they're the ones fighting. They should be, like, narratively in opposition. But, like, Kaguya's whole thing is just irrelevant to Naruto and Sasuke to a large extent. Now, not entirely, because Kaguya, all chakra belongs in me. I'm fighting for myself. Blah, blah, blah. Naruto versus Gaara again. Yeah, okay, that works. But
I have something for you. This is already kind of the case anyways. But when Sasuke arrives to the battlefield and is like helping out the Alliance, he sort of is on his own doing what he wants anyways, sort of like a vigilante. I would just focus on that so that when Kaguya comes around, Sasuke is forced to reluctantly work together with Naruto and Sakura and Kakashi as Team 7, which is what Kakashi sees during the final punch seal thing anyways. Team 7 back together. In which case, do you think they should save the new Sannin deadlock thing for the Kaguya fight, or just keep it in the war arc where it is?
I don't know when. The problem is the new Sannin. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's cool as a concept.
I agree.
It definitely fell short.
Yeah.
Like,
who cares?
It was like, to an extent, that should have happened sooner, but it wouldn't make sense sooner because they were never in the position to do that. But like the time to do that would have been like Pain Arc 5 Kage Summit. Like it's too late. It's just so beyond Sannin relevance at this point.
Yeah, it's the same as Naruto giving the Konoha 12 a KCM cloak and Rasengan. Like, it's just spectacle that was only added for the sake of coolness. That doesn't actually change the story because it's the end of the story, so Kishimoto just threw it in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if somebody was comparing, like, oh, Naruto, you finally surpassed Kakashi in the middle of the war arc. It's like, gee whiz, it's kind of late for that. It's just, like, in the Pain arc, it was so much emphasis on Naruto surpassing Jiraiya. To say, oh, he's the new Toad Sannin in the middle of the war, it's like, bruh. Sasuke killed Orochimaru like 400 chapters ago.